Hi everybody. So just a few little house rules. So if everybody can mute themselves, and if we can all just confirm that you can hear me, then that would be great. And we'll just hopefully get off to a really good start for today's webinar. We'll wait for a couple of more people to join the room. And then so it's mute on. You can have your cameras on. We don't mind seeing your lovely faces. But yeah, so if we can just keep on mute, that's perfect. Today we are going to be talking about squat practices. It's myself that will be speaking on today's webinar, and then we've got my lovely co-host Saba Arif. The idea of today is that at the end of this webinar you should be able to find out all about the hidden secrets of opening a successful squat practice, why compliance is one of the most important aspects when opening a practice, and how to prepare for registration manager interview, and what are the CQC requirements. So, where to begin? If you're looking for squat practices, there'll be a few different people on the call today. So we might have principals that are well established, they have groups of practices, they've done this before, they just want a few updates on what's happening. We might have associate dentists that are looking into opening practices and you just don't know where to begin. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find your location. That's going to be the first thing you're looking at. And when we talk about location, really we want to make sure that there's good footfall, accessibility. We're talking about, is there a local train station? Are there local shops by? What are the demographics like of the area? So is it populated? What's your competition like? So have you got 5 different dental practices on that street? Sometimes it's nice to have a bit of healthy competition. It might be that there just aren't going to be that many practices. So the location is definitely key, and it's going to be the first stage of what you're going to be doing when you're going to start opening your practice. Overall, the best location for a squat practice will depend on a variety of factors that are unique to your business. So it might be that your practice, you want to do lots of Invisalign. So if you're going somewhere where there's loads of care homes and everybody's really old, Invisalign is probably not going to be for you. If you're looking at doing loads and loads of implants, then maybe that's the area that you're going to want to tap into. So do your research, do see what your competition's like in the area. Do make sure that you just really sussed out and researched that area before you kind of make any big decisions. Moving on from that, well, when you found your location, obviously you're going to need the money to start planning everything. Your finances, super important. One of the most important things is going to be to just develop a really good business plan. You want to kind of look at your overall cost, operating cost, your equipment cost. You want to see what the bank is going to loan to you, because you're all going to need some loans. So make sure your credit's tip top. You might have investors. So you really do want to get your finances in order before you even start kind of looking at what to do. Calculate the overhead cost of running the dental practices, such as even the rent. You need to really scrutinize every single aspect of where your expenditure is going to be, because don't forget, you've still got to pay your staff, you've still got to do your marketing. So really important, and probably my top tip in that area is just get your business plan right at the very beginning, and then you should be plain sailing from there. After that, well, obviously now you've got your funds, you found your location, the location is brilliant, and you might have got this really nice empty building. It might be an existing practice that you're taking over. It might be, it was an old laundrette and you want to start getting your kind of planning in place. Well, so what you need to do really when it comes to your planning is contact your local council, have a look at any building alterations that have happened. When it comes to signages, you're going to definitely need planning permission. Recently, the way in which things are classed has changed. So now A1, A2, A3, B1s, they're all now classed as E's. So 9 times out of 10, there's not going to be much in terms of planning permission that you're going to need, because you'll already have that. But do contact your local council. Just make sure that there's nothing that you're missing, because they're going to be the best people. If you're going to be looking at changing external structure of the business as well, that's really important. So speak to your local council. I know that the application for planning permission, very long-winded. You may feel like you're just repeating X, Y, and Z, but it does need to be done, and you can't get any further until you've got that planning permission. So it is one of the not so exciting tasks. I will agree on that. I know the more exciting things are your fit and desire, which we're going to move on to now. So yeah, the next stage is going to be all fit and design. That's where associates get really excited. You can put your own stamp on your practice. All those times that you've sat in the surgery and you thought, I wish we had this, I wish we had that, I wish we had this equipment. Well, now you can do it. So the great thing is, all you need to do really is think about the layout of your practice. So you want to think about the design of the practice, the flow of the patients, how they're going to be kind of walking from reception into the surgery, make sure there's no obstructions. You want to make it nice, calm, relaxing for the patients. If you're thinking about expanding in the future as well, it's really important to put those things into place. So you might have 2 rooms, but you're only having 1 surgery now. But whilst you're doing the work, why not get the cabinetry put in? Why not leave space for a chair so that when it comes to expanding, once you built up your patient base, you're there ready just to pop the chair in. You don't need to do everything at once, but do have a clear plan and process, because obviously the idea is that you're going to grow your business. It could even be that you want to rent out one of the other rooms in the meantime. So just make sure you've got everything in place so that your options are open, especially when it comes to expanding.
Victoria, can I just add to that? Because
yes,
when I
please.
do a lot of when I go into a lot of squat practices, or when we get a lot of clients who come to us about squat practices, a lot of the time when they go to like equipment suppliers, they've quoted them for like 5 surgeries, or they quote them for 4 surgeries, and they want them to install everything on 4 to 5 all the equipment for 4 to 5 surgeries. And I always like to tell my clients, look, start off with small. Especially initially, you need to make sure that you have enough budgets and fund for marketing, for websites, for staff recruitment. There's so many other things that go into it. And yes, we all get excited and we want to make sure all the 4 and the 5 surgeries have got the equipment and they're all ready. But it does take 1 to 2 years minimum to build up to a second surgery. So this is why, I always recommend my clients to make sure that you start off with fully fitting out maybe 1 to 2 surgery, and then slowly. I mean, if the demand is there, if they've already got surgery up and running and they say, no, Saba, definitely, we've got 5 dentists, they're ready to go, we've got diaries fully booked, then that's absolutely fine. But for new squat practice owners or associates who are opening their first squat, one of the golden tips that I would like to add is, don't get indulged, or don't get carried away with all these dental equipment, going to dental equipment companies and quoting you for 4 to 5 surgeries. Stick to the 1 to 2 surgery kit, the setup first.
Thank you, Sabah. Very good top tip from you there. Thank you. The other things to consider as well is accessibility and safety. So you do need to incorporate disability access. You want to look at kind of when it comes to fit, do you have disabled toilets? So there are more things in terms of being CQC compliant or being able to cater for whether it's disabled patients, disabled staff. It is something that you should plan as well. So I know we all want it to look beautiful, but there are other aspects when it comes to CQC that they are going to want to see. So again, don't get carried away too much on like, oh, this color goes with this color. If you're forgetting the basics, then there's not really much point, because you need to do a lot of risk assessments as well to make sure that you can see your patients safely in the practice. Then we have got the design and the layout, which we've just touched upon. So they're kind of the main things before you start really getting into the nitty-gritty of compliance that you should have already been thinking about, should be in your business plan. With us, if you need any advice on who you should choose, who would we recommend? As you've heard from Saba, we've done about 68, is it, Saba? 68 squat practices in the last 5 years. We don't just do compliance, we do help you and guide you throughout the whole process. So if you're unsure on, even if it's marketing, we'll have somebody we can recommend for marketing. If it's somebody for equipment, we trust these people, we've used them countless amounts of times. So if you need any tips or anything, just get in contact and we'll direct you to the right people. That brings us on nicely to, I hope why you're all here, it's all about compliance. We love compliance and that's what we're here to talk about. It's probably the less exciting aspect of the whole journey, a bit overwhelming. You don't know where to start. Some associates, you've been sitting in the surgery, everything gets done in the background, you're not too sure, you don't even really know what CQC is, some of you, because I've seen it myself. So you do need to really, really get to grips with the CQC regulations, the key lines of inquiry. You should start looking into all things CQC when you're going to start opening a practice. You will be having registered managers interviews. You need to be prepared for those. And you need to just make sure your practice is ticking all the boxes so that the practice is safe, effective, well-led, etc. Here you can see what your typical compliance journey looks like. So you found your location. You've gone to the site, you've done, this is when we're doing the compliance side of things. So this is forgetting about the finances, putting all that aside. You've got your location, you've done your initial site visit, and you're starting your application. Well, there's a lot to consider because you need a lot of supporting documents. You need to get those all together. Then you submit your application. Then the CQC reviews your application. Then it gets allocated to an inspector. Then they visit you and then you can open. So even if you're thinking, oh, we'll wait till everything's done and then we'll do our application, everything will be fine, we can see our patients. It's not quite that simple, unfortunately, because just from submission of application to opening the practice, you're looking at about 16 weeks at the minute. That's the time frame. So you do need to be prepared. So things that you can start doing right now. So before you even apply, before you even start thinking about all of the other things that you need, is just be clear about what the application is that you're making and understanding the requirements of the legislation that you are doing and being able to explain and show how you will follow the regulations. So that's one thing that you can do and start thinking of right now. The other thing that you really can do right now, and I would urge you to, because I've seen a lot of issues with DBSs, is do get an up-to-date DBS check. If you are a dentist, the good news is you can get an enhanced DBS check if you're GDC registered, and they will check that. If you're not GDC registered or your manager's not GDC registered, you do have to have a countersigned DBS check. That in itself can sometimes be a bit of a long process. It doesn't just come instantly. By the time sometimes you've even found somebody who does the irrelevant DBS check, you're then panicking, thinking, I really need this, I need to start my application. So if you're even thinking about doing, starting up your squat practice this year, I would say just get the ball rolling, get your DBS check. Then when it comes to doing your application, you can just start immediately, because these are the things that I see hold back some practices. We touched a little bit upon supporting documents. To be honest with you, the list is pretty much endless. The supporting documents, they include everything from your ICO registration, your HSC registration, your employment history. So employment history, that begins from the age of 16 right up until now. So get these things in order. So think about what you've been doing in the last 10, 15 years, 5 years, however long it is. There can be no gaps in any employment history. So you do really need to take the time to work out, where was I working? How long was I there for? Oh, I was on holiday for 3 months. All of these things they do check and they do scrutinize. If there's even like a month missing, they reject your application, it comes back, that delays you opening your practice. So these are things that you can start doing right now. Supporting documents are also things like your policies. You're going to want your safeguarding policy, your infection control policy. They're going to want to see that you've got a training matrix in place. So there's lots of different supporting documents that you do need to have in place before you can even send the application. So if you're thinking of opening up a practice anytime soon, make sure all of these things are done, because if they're not, you can't even submit your application. The good news is we do help you with that. So if you do need any help in, even if it's HSC registration, ICO registration, if you just don't know where to begin, we've got a really good template that you can use to fill out the basic information that you need, and then we can help you with the rest. Saba, do you have anything to add to anything so far?
No, I think we're doing really well. Guys, please feel free to message us on the message box as well if there's anything that you guys have got questions or inquiries about, and I will make sure that I answer it for you.
Perfect. As well as doing the application and getting all of these documents that we've just mentioned, you do need to create a statement of purpose. Again, we do help our clients with that. You can give it a go, try making a statement of purpose. Essentially, the statement of purpose is what you plan to do in your practice, what care you're going to deliver, how you're going to do it, and it needs to reflect everything you put in your application. So the CQC, they really do look at every single thing you send. So if your statement of purpose doesn't match one tiny part of the application, or is conflicting, rejected, sent back. So make sure everything adds up, and yeah, just give it a go. Maybe try and do a statement of purpose. So a statement of purpose, it needs to have your name, legal status, address, your aims, objectives, what what type of treatment you're going to be providing, so your regulated activities, the location, the people the service is there for. You can see it's a pretty big bit of kit that you need to get prepared. So if you do need any help with that as well, our clients, if you are using Smart Dental, we've actually got a really good template on the system. If you want us to show you where that is, please do. Otherwise, reach out to us, any newbies that we've not come across, please get in contact with us and we could just help you and kind of give you a bit of guidance for that part as well. So I mentioned that we can help you. What we do, we love compliance. As I've said, we've done like 68 squat practices that side, and then we do applications day in, day out. We don't just do dental applications, CQC applications, we do domiciliary, we do aesthetics, we do a full host. So we're well equipped, we know all the things that we failed on, we've learned from them. So we know what we're doing. And if you do need help, please do reach out. So the initial thing that we would do with you is we would arrange a call. We'd understand a bit about the services you're trying to or planning on doing in your practice, and then we would review all the supporting documents. So all the things that we need in order to send the application, we'd go through, we'd make sure that nothing is missing, that you've got everything is up to date, that your DBS check is going to get approved. So all these little things that do take time. I think the average application, I think people spend about 2 days, so 2 days of your life just doing the application, and that's not getting all of this paperwork. So it's very long-winded. After we've got all your supporting documents and we've sent off your application, we actually do a site check as well. So we come and we make sure that your risk assessments have been done, that all your signages are up, that your flow of the decon room is set up. We just get you prepared, like even when it's like fire risk assessment, and then we prepare you for the manager's interview as well. Now, that part, I think we would need a whole separate webinar for when it comes to the registered managers interview. We have done one recently, so if you want to check it out, go onto YouTube, or we can send you the link, and it just gets you prepared, all the questions they're going to ask, any ways that you can go around it, where to find the evidence that you need as well. So reach out to us if you want us to direct you to that as well. After we've sent the application and it's been approved, it's site visit, prep for the registered manager's interview, and then a practice inspection. That's when the CQC come to your practice, they have a look, they check everything against your statement of purpose, your application, they interview you, they make sure that you understand how to keep your patients, your staff safe, like safer recruitment, and they want to see that you've got clear systems in place. Now, you should be able to understand and be familiar with all the standards that apply to your practice. When you register, you'll need to be registered with the CQC, but you should also have things like quality management systems in place to identify any risks in the practice. Now, again, it sounds a bit overwhelming and you're probably thinking, where do I start? How do you ensure that the practice is clean and safe? How is equipment maintained properly? These are all things that you're going to need to show that you have a system in place to be following on with when it comes to your next inspection, that you've had a process, you followed it, you've got evidence. The great thing is we've created a system that does it for you, so we can give demos on that as well if you want to have a look. Some of the people on here that you're already using our system, I'm sure you could even vouch for how easy it is just to follow all things CQC compliance, whether it's HR, your daily logs, audits, risk assessments, everything's there, everything's an e-log, everything can get saved. And when the CQC asks for it, you can just send them the evidence. So it is really, really good. And I would say anybody who hasn't, do have a demo of the system. So if we just kind of go through what we've spoken about. So you've got your planning permission. You've sorted out the design and the layout, your treatment rooms specifications, I can never say the word. We've made sure that you've got your decon rooms all set up, your treatment room set up properly, the toilets as well, so disabled access is really important. Fire safety is very, very, very big, and it's one of the things that I see, and Saba, I'm sure you'll agree, when we do CQC 100%. Inspections. They are really, really focusing on fire safety. So they pull out your folders, they're checking your risk assessment, they've even sending the fire brigade in and closing practices down. So make sure the fire safety side of things is like top notch.
Also, we get a lot of questions about fire extinguishers. So sometimes when I go out to the practice to do the final checks before they're open, they're like, Saba, what fire extinguisher that we need to go for? What about the fire alarm? Do we need to have it one with the panel? Where does the fire alarm need to go? So what we do as part of our fire risk assessment, you can book an initial visit from our fire risk assessment, who would come in, he will have a look at everything, he'll make sure that he gives you a report of what you need to order, like what fire alarm, fire blankets, what fire extinguishers, because even with the fire extinguishers, there's certain amount you have to order depending on the surgery. So for example, if you've got 2 surgeries and if it's all on the ground floor, you would only need the carbon dioxide and foam. Whereas if you've got 2 floors, or if you've got 3 floors, you will need more fire extinguishers as well. So it's really important that you do look into this. So get the initial fire risk assessor. Again, this is something that we offer. He will come out, he will do all the checks. And then once he's done that, you can order all the stuff. He'll send you all the links for it. And then you can place an order. And after that, he'll come out to do the fire risk assessment. So please, that is one of the questions that we do get asked a lot, is about fire equipment. What fire equipment do we need to order? Where do we order it? And how many? And which one? So we would, that's something that we would definitely assist you with as well.
Perfect. So here, yeah, we've got a little bit of information about the fire safety regulations. If you need any of these slides shared with you, just let us know. The recording will be up. So if you want to kind of go back and think, what did they say? It's all here. It's not just the fire risk assessment. So you do need to have your Legionella risk assessment, your fire risk assessment. You need to have your health and safety risk assessment, and you need to have an RPA. Again, we do these services. You don't have to use ours. We're not just here just to plug ourselves. We're here to help you make sure that you do things properly and that you're going to be successful in opening your practice. But these are really important, and I think we get so wrapped up, or practice owners get so wrapped up in all the other things, all the finance, the marketing. Now you need a website, you're on courses, you're doing all of this, that you forget these things need to be done before you have an inspection. And without these, what will happen is, if they're not ready, the inspector will give you 2 more weeks. If it's not ready, you start the application all over again, and 16 weeks starts. That's a lot of rent-free period missed out on. That's a lot of patients you're not seeing. That's staff that you may have even got contracts in place and you're now paying them. So it's really important to get the timing right, because time is money at the end of the day. So that's why when you use a company that does everything at all under one roof, we work together. So we would recommend your equipment, who can do the equipment and the fit. We have our own risk assessors. We know when the CQC inspection is going to be, and we work together to make sure the timing is perfect. So you're not wasting any time, you're not wasting any money, and the practice is ready when it needs to be. Obviously, if there can be delays as well, that is quite normal. Well, it happens quite a lot. It might be that the builders have put a delay of 2 months. It might be that the equipment's just, there's a shortage of the equipment that you want. You can obviously change the date before submission, and you can keep the CQC informed if there has been any delay. So don't panic too much. Yes, timing is key, but it's normal. And I think if there's any practice owners on here, I'm sure somewhere there's been a delay in one of the things, if not a few. So don't worry too much. So just to kind of recap on what to do and what not to do. So before you, make sure you register on Companies House, and make sure that the information on Companies House reflects the people that are going to be either the provider or the registered manager, or if you're in a partnership or anything like that, because a lot of applications, they fail because that bit of information is not matching what we're putting on the application. Just check your Companies House. That is what I would say. Do apply for your DBS ASAP, then you can start your application whenever you're ready. Do get your employment history in order. Ensure you have all the registration certificates that you need. If you haven't, we can help you with that. What I would say when it comes to DOE, please do not leave it too late to start your application. That we can't do much in terms of fast track. Yes, we have a good relationship with the CQC. Unfortunately, we can't just give them a backhander and then they'll put you to the top of the list. There's high demand for squat practices as well as lots of other services at the minute. So there is a bit of a wait. So please don't leave it too late. When it comes to the CQC, once you've done your application, they will send you updates, or they might ask for further information. Don't ignore those emails. Don't delay sending them to the person that's responsible for your application, or if you're doing it yourself. There's really strict timeframes and deadlines. If you don't meet them, again, you're back at the bottom of the pile. 16 weeks starts again. So it's just really, really important to follow these do's and don'ts. That's what I would say. What we will do is we'll ask Saba, the queen of CQC over here. No, she does a lot of CQC applications, squat practices. She's at a lot of CQC inspections. So she has a bit of inside scope of what to avoid, what questions she gets asked, I'm sure she'll help. So Saba, hello.
Hello. So yes,
Hello.
thank you so much for that. Very insightful information. I just want to say, guys, now is the best time to open dental practice. Just because it's a lot more easier on the finance and the interest rate and the loan rates. So if you've got a good business plan, if you've got the vision, or if you've got a mission, or if it's always been your dream to open a dental practice, I would say it's not a rocket science. It is, you just need to make sure you're organized, you've got the passion, you've got the motivation, and you should be absolutely fine. In terms of the CQC questions, there's a couple of questions that I get asked all the time. Is number one, with the application form. Victoria has covered a lot of it. But the first question that I get asked is, how long is the CQC application process going to take? Okay, now as a compliance provider, we've got a lot of experience in terms of the time frame and the timeline. And this is why we make it very clear to our clients, as long as you guys are providing us with all the right information and all the information that we need, we pretty much can submit your application within 7 to 10 working days, which is really fast compared to our other competitors and the compliance providers. Now, once we have submitted that application, it does take anywhere between 16 to 24 weeks. So I always recommend my clients, as soon as you get the keys, please give us a call and start getting your application form in there. Okay, very important, because at times sometimes it's easier to find good builders, and if you do find good builders, they're able to finish the work within 3 months, and that's your rent-free period gone. And then the CQC application hasn't come through, and you're paying the rents, you're paying the bills, you're paying everything. And it's really frustrating, to be honest. We've had so many clients give us a call, oh, you know, my practice is done, I want to submit my application. And I always say to them, well, you've left it really late. But anyways, we're still here to help, and we will do whatever it takes. So that is the question we get asked a lot about, the time frame. Second question, as Victoria mentioned, can you fast track application? Unfortunately, there's nothing as such as fast tracking applications. It all depends on the luck as well, to be honest. So for example, if you've already got a dental practice set up and you're doing ad allocation, that is a lot more faster. It's about 3 to 4 weeks. Sometimes it can go up to 6 weeks. Whereas if you're doing a brand new CQC application, then it does take time. Very recently, we spoke to the CQC and they said they're still doing applications from December, and we are nearly hitting March now. So one of the things, these are the things that I get asked a lot about from my clients as well. And last but not least, just like a lot of the clients say, you know what, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? We've made it really easy. There's so many checklists on our IOM software that we've got. We've got a new practice starter checklist. We've got the registered manager interview answers and questions, which you can use. We do a lot of mock as well with our clients if they're not feeling confident as well. If they've got any questions, as Victoria said, we're there to support them all throughout. And a lot of the time when you are opening a squat practice, there's so many things that you are doing, like marketing, recruiting, paperwork, business liability, insurance. You just don't get enough time or get into the grips of sorting out all your compliance. So one of the things a lot of my clients miss out is risk assessments. So they were like, oh, I wasn't aware we needed fire and Legionella risk assessment. Is that something that I could do internally? So no, the first risk assessment when you're opening the squat needs to be done by an external professional. And it has to be the 4 risk assessments, which are fire, Legionella, health and safety, and disability. So these are all need to be done externally. And last but not least, as Victoria mentioned, your paperwork, it has to be in the correct order. You need to get your paperwork in place before we start working on your application. What does that mean? Your business liability insurance, your ICO insurance, your HSE certification, your business plan, all these things need to be in place before we start submitting your application. Otherwise, it just delays the whole process. So again, these are some of the things that we do provide you assistance and help in, and we can very easily overcome those for you. So that's from my end and all the frequent questions I get asked.
Once you've done the application and the practice is opened, obviously you have a lot of compliance that you have to maintain. So it is really important that you do keep on top of things, because you're going to be recruiting staff. You need to be doing this safely. This is another one of the things that CQC are like really looking into. So has everybody had their DBS checks? Have you got references? You're going to be super busy. You're not, these things you're going to think, oh, I'll do that next week, it's not too important, they've started already, or oh, they're Hep B, they said they're going to send it. And what happens is you get a backlog of compliance that you need to catch up with. When you're using a system, it's really easy to manage it, especially if you're an associate who maybe hasn't had hands-on with the compliance side of things. You don't really see sometimes what goes on behind the scenes, all of the log sheets that your nurses are filling out. When you think they're having a cup of tea, they're actually in the decon room filling out all these logs that the principal has told them to do, or the manager's told them to do. So sometimes there's a lot that goes on that maybe you're not aware of, and it would be good if you are an associate that's looking to open a squat and you want to see what happens once you open it and what things do you need to have in place. Do contact us. We can set up a demo. We'll show you all the things that you need to have, how to manage it and how to do things where it's just going to be easy for you, save you time, save you energy, even to the point where you can delegate tasks, you can see if your staff are doing them, gives you a bit of peace of mind as well. You know things are done, you can check in remotely, there's an app. These are, yeah, because compliance is really important. But if it was me, I'd be so excited that we've got a marketing campaign, we've got some new Invisalign leads, we've got new patients, that maybe these things get put on the back burner. So I would just say get a really good system in place that you can maintain throughout, and then you're never having to like chase your tail when it comes to CQC inspection. Perfect. So yeah, this is what we do. So we can assist you with your CQC DBS application form. We assist in completing the CQC registration manager form. We assist in completing the CQC provider application. We prepare you for your CQC registered manager interview. We do an on-site visit during construction to ensure that the site is compliant. Obviously, we work with a lot of the companies that you probably might use anyway, but if you want your anybody who's doing design or fit, they can always ring us and we can give them a bit of advice as well. Risk assessments, we do that for you as well. So we do your fire, Legionella, disability, health and safety. Your radiations, your RPA, we do that for you as well. We get you all set up. We set you up on the compliance dashboard. So all your CPDs on there, your HR folders, your staff folders, everything's there ready for you to use. There's a calendar, you know when things need to get done. Your BLS training, it will tell you when that needs to be done. Your fire risk assessment is just a really easy way of maintaining everything. And then training your staff is really important, because you want your staff to be on the same kind of page as you and make sure that they're doing things properly from the get-go. You're investing a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's going to be probably the biggest project of your life. You want the right team and you want the right systems in place to help you along that way. Saba, anything else that you would like to add?
No, I think we're doing really well.
Perfect. So our package, we're not saying you have to use our package. I would advise it, because I don't know about you, Saba, but probably 70%, 80% of people, they tried to do their application. 100%. The application got rejected, or
and then they come back to us.
That's it. Or they've had a manager who said, oh, I can do it, and it got rejected. Or they got
I would like to share like a very recent story. We've got a client right now, and basically he opened a brand new squat practice in Knightsbridge, lovely practice, spent a lot of money. He hired a consultant who was recommended by some friends. He was a CQC consultant. I don't really know much about him, but when I spoke to the client, he said the consultant came really highly recommended for 4 of his other friends who had dental practices. So they gave the CQC application to this consultant. The consultant said, yes, he's working on it. And then after 4 to 6 weeks, he totally disappeared. He said, I've already submitted the application, don't worry about it. And then when my client approached the consultant and said, where's the application? He disappeared. He didn't get back to the client. He changed his numbers and all that happened. So then the client's practice had already opened, and now he was really stressed out. He gave us a call and he said, look, Saba, this has happened to me. My practice is up and running. I'm spending £30,000 every month on rent, rates, building, staff, electricity, every single thing. And what's, the position? And I'm really, really proud to say that we've managed to help that client of ours to successfully open his practice and get his CQC application form in and completed within 4 to 6 weeks. Obviously, things like these happen, and this is why we are here. We've got a lot of experience. So if you've had like something like that happened or something has gone wrong, then you can always give us a call and we're able to turn it around quite quickly for you, depending on what circumstances that you have. So yeah, I would say look out for especially when you are opening a squat, look out for who you are using, and make sure that, you know, they are genuine and you've got lots and lots of feedback.
Thank you, Saba. Also, our service is completely bespoke to what you need. So what we usually do is we arrange like a consultation over the telephone. We find out what you need from us, what you'd want from us. We tell you what we offer, and then we design that package around your needs. Now, there might be things that you've already done. You might have already done the ICO, the HSC. You might have somebody who's doing your risk assessment. No problem. We can amend our package to suit you. You just want the CQC application? No problem. We can do that for you. So don't feel like, no, actually, I've already got that bit covered. Or sometimes as well, I've seen, I'll speak to somebody and they'll be like, oh, there's somebody else who's doing it really, really cheap. And I'm like, great, what's included? They're like, well, the CQC application. I'm like, well, we do that. They're like, oh, yours sounds expensive. No, we actually have a whole package. So think about what you're getting for your value of money. So with our package, you're getting everything from your risk assessment. Risk assessments, they're like £300, £400 each. So think about what you need. Tell us or whoever you're using what you need and get them to design the package around you, because sometimes people are rushing in because of the price. You might get your application done, but you can't open your practice because all these other things weren't actually done for you, and you didn't know that you needed to have all the risk assessments put into place. You didn't know any of these things were outstanding. So don't worry, like, don't always just look at the price and think, oh, where do I begin? Everything is, we do a lot of services, you don't need to use them all, is what I would say as well. Do we have any questions that need to be answered in the chat? Sorry, I can't really see the chat, but it'd be nice to kind of go through. Perfect. Was there anything that popped up more than once or anything, Saba, that would be good to share?
Yeah, sure. There was nothing that popped up more than once, to be honest.
Okay, perfect. So just individual ones. Perfect. Well, I think that brings us to the end. It's a nice short one.
Perfect. I mean, just before you guys go, so what we are releasing on Friday, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm just waiting for some companies to get back to us. So with the squat practice, we generally have love for squat practices. We love doing them. They're the most exciting projects for us. And we always try to make sure we go out the way, we hold the hand of our clients. You can even check out our website. We've got lots and lots of reviews from our lovely, lovely clients who have taken on our squat practice package. But something very exciting that we have been working on endlessly for the last 3 months is putting our first squat practice magazine together. So I don't know about you guys, I'm still a bit old school. I love my magazine. When I'm in the train, when I'm in the bus, I would like to have a look at or read something. So I'm just going to share my screen with you guys. And basically what we have done is we've collaborated with lots and lots of top-notch equipment companies, interior designers, architects, compliance companies, one of us, marketing. So highly recommending Mr. Imran Ahmed for his marketing, social media services as well, and website services. So what we've done is we collaborated with all these companies, the best one that we've recommended our clients to, and the clients have come back and said, you know what, we had them and they were absolutely smashing. And we can guarantee that their customer service and everything is really, really good. So what we've done is we've collaborated with those companies and we've featured them in our guide or our first dental squat magazine, which is releasing on Friday. So I am super, super excited. I'm just sharing you some sneak peek of the magazine and what you will get to read and what the magazine is all about. So this is our front cover, Rise of New Squat Practices, the really hot guide to opening your squat, top secrets, tips, 20+ top suppliers. So this is our first edition. We are going to be taking another edition out later throughout the year as well. And you can get your hands on this magazine because everybody who's attended today on the webinar, you can get your hands onto this magazine just by dropping your email address on the chat box, and we will send you the digital version of the magazine. We'll also be at the dentistry show on the 24th and the 25th of March. So if you guys want to come and see us face to face and talk about your squat, we can introduce you to our suppliers or the people that we recommend and the people that we use as well. So please do come. We will be at the stand C61. Anybody planning to open a squat, I will highly recommend going to these dentistry shows because you just get so much knowledge, you get so much information, you get to meet the suppliers face to face. So you're meeting them face to face, you're understanding what they do. Here in page 8, we're talking about all about advertising and marketing. I think one of the biggest headache for associates is advertising and marketing, especially when you're opening a squat. So make sure you do get very, very reliable companies. A lot of the marketing and advertisement companies now are not taking on any more new clients because they're always fully booked, or they've already got so many practices in that area. So it's a competition. But as I highly recommend Mr. Imran Ahmed for his services, he's very, very good, personally used by a lot of our clients as well, and us. And he's always there just on the other end of the phone. He's an independent consultant. He does website designing, he does marketing, he does campaigns. So if you're planning to do an open day, get in touch with him. He will do the campaign, guarantees you results. We've got dental architects on here as well, because that's another one that people struggle with. What systems to use? A lot of the time we get asked, Saba, should we go for Dentally, Software of Excellence, R4? Which one do you recommend? So we've put some information on here as well of the different systems that are out there. And obviously the compliance management, which I think is one of the most vital aspect when you are opening a squat, because the last thing you want to deal with is more paperwork, especially when it comes to CQC and compliance. You do need somebody who's going to hold your hand and walk you through that process. And you don't want to be able to waste time on this. And time at the end of the day, as we said, is time is money. So the more time you waste on your CQC application, the more it's going to cost you at the end of the day. The magazine also has a squat practice checkup list. So again, it's not the full list, but it is the basic things. And just some top tips, website tips, where to get website done from, how to get website done, how to get your domain name out there as well. So it is a very, very helpful magazine, and we've spent a lot of time, effort, building it all up for our squat practice clients. So this will be releasing on Friday. So you can get your hands onto this. And then everybody else, it will be available on our website as well to download. So perfect. I'm getting everybody's, thank you for that information. What's the best time to sign up? So what's the best time to sign up? That's Mr. Ahmed. The best time to sign up.
Now.
Yes, now. So it depends, as I said, it depends when you get your keys. So as soon as you get your keys for the building or for the site, I would definitely say, give us a call, sign up to our Squat Practice package to make your life super, super easy. So yeah, that's about the magazine. I'm really excited. As I said, this is our first one, and our second is going to, our second edition is going to be released later on throughout the year. But do come and see us at the dentistry show at stand C61, where you can meet us, and then we will take you to our lovely suppliers. And yeah, that's about it from my end.
There's a lot of people that couldn't make it onto the webinar today as well, that are asking, we're going to send them the recording. So if you're watching this, you can still get the magazine. It's not just for the people that attended. I know you can't put your email address in, just contact us and we'll send you the link as well. Perfect. I think that brings us nicely to the end. Anybody that needs any advice, if you want to book in some like a consultation with us, go through kind of where you're at, what you need to get in place. We'll give you a complimentary. You're on this call. We usually charge £250 for anybody that's on the call. Just get in touch. You're more than welcome to have a complimentary consultation. We can kind of go through where you're at, what you need to do, and we'll take it from there.
Perfect.
Lovely.
I've got lots of questions on the meeting chat, guys. So I am replying to them. Don't worry, and I've got everybody's email address as well. So I'm going through them as well. So yeah, I will go through them. I will reply to everyone, and I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed the webinar. And we're going to do a lot more webinars. Our next webinar is going to be with some equipment supplier company, some finance companies, so you can ask all the questions you guys want. So yeah, really hoping for you guys to be on our next webinar as well.
Thank you, Saba. Thank you everybody for joining, and we'll see you soon.
I am answering your questions, guys. So